Today I'm taking a closer look at and showing you how to install the MBRP ArmorLite middle exit exhaust system fitting all 2021 and newer 5-liter powered F-150s. Now you guys should be checking out the street version of the ArmorLite system here if you'd like to go with a little bit more volume along with a very cool look, all at a super affordable price point. Now this system will deliver that aluminized steel construction along with the 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing and middle side exit design, all for right around that mid $500 price point. So the ArmorLite Street version is MBRP's answer for truck owners out there who want a very mild increase in volume over stock, but would ultimately prefer to keep things as budget-minded as possible. So what does this all mean when it comes to sound? Well, let's break out our Wake the Neighbor scale, where I'm gonna go with a soft 3 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Definitely some bark here, but honestly guys, again, this might just be one of the tamest systems out there, and I don't think that's a bad thing. In fact, for me personally, as I get a little bit older, this is the volume level I'm looking to be at. But at the same time, guys, if you did want to go a bit louder, you wanted to crank the volume, but you dug the configuration, you like the affordability, well, you're in luck because MBRP does also offer this in the race configuration as well. Basically, you're getting everything here minus the resonator. So you're gonna get a straight pipe in place of the resonator and everything else, and that will absolutely crank the volume a little bit more than this. So if that is something you're interested in checking out, definitely look for that here on the site as well. Let's get back to the street version that we have here, move away from sound, and let's talk about what else you can expect out of the very budget-friendly system. And right up front, guys, the big thing to really keep in mind is with the ArmorLite system, it is budget-friendly for a reason. Now, what I mean by that is typically when companies use aluminized steel, as is the case here, it's done with a way to really keep the cost down to an absolute minimum when compared to a full stainless system. Now the downside to that aluminized steel is that it is more susceptible to corrosion long term. So if you do see a lot of road salt, you live in a snowy or salty area, you might want to steer clear of this one. Now, on the other hand, if you live in a state like Arizona or Florida, this is obviously going to be a non-issue. MBRP is still going to give you a 3-year warranty here with the ArmorLite. But materials aside, let's talk a little bit more about what else you're looking at here with this system. And as far as diameter is concerned, you do have a combination of tubing. You got 3-inch tubing leading into and out of the included resonator and muffler, but that does step down to the 2.5-inch tubing right here, all mandrel bent, of course, and then everything will exit out of your twin polished tips. 304 grade stainless is your material here. That's a good thing to point out. That's the cream of the crop material, and that's what you're gonna see the most of. Now that tip is embossed with the MBRP logo. And again, keep in mind, this is the middle side exit. That's a configuration I really dig here for the F-150. Kind of gives off those old school Lightning vibes, if you will. And I think it just really works well in cleaning up the appearance of the truck overall. Last but not least, guys, the system does include all the clamps, hangers, hardware, everything needed to get this bad boy in place. Now getting into pricing, and for the low to mid $500 price point, the MBRP ArmorLite is going to be one of your more affordable systems for the newer 5-liter powered trucks here. However, again, keep the materials in mind. If you did want to step into a full stainless option from MBRP, well, the cost is going to go up by a few $100 from the Armor Plus, and then even more to the Armor Pro, which is that 304 grade stainless. All right, what do you say we shift gears and talk about the install? And the site's gonna go with a solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you a couple of hours to complete from start to finish. But now to give you a better idea of what's installed for you in the garage or driveway, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a ratchet, an exhaust hanger remover tool, 13mm ratcheting wrench, 15mm wrench, a marker, an extension, 10, 13, and 15mm sockets, 17mm swivel socket, 8mm Allen socket, safety glasses, a tape measure, and a saw and a grinder. What's up guys? Today we're installing an exhaust on our F-150. First we're going to watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory exhaust, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
Start by grabbing your 13mm socket and undoing the 2 bolts at the flange. Next, take your exhaust hanger removal tool and get the muffler out of the isolator. Next, we're going to slide our exhaust towards the tail end so we can get them out of the 2 additional hangers, and then we're going to drop the whole exhaust as a full. I grabbed a buddy to help me out with that.
Now the first thing we're going to do is measure out our extension pipe. In our scenario, we are going to have to cut this down to length. Depending on your cabin bed configuration, you might not use this, you might use the whole length or have to cut. For our Super Crew with a 5.5 foot bed, we're going to need a 6 3/4 inch pipe. So I'm going to take a tape measure and a marker and make my mark at 6 3/4. So now I've got my pipe over here at the saw. I've got it clamped into place. I've got my saw blade lined up to the mark I made, and now we're just gonna make our cut. Now we're gonna come over to the grinder and clean up some of these edges here. So now we can install our front pipe muffler combo. We're going to be reinstalling our factory bolts. We do have washers included in the kit that we're going to put onto our bolts. Now our hardware has been replaced from the factory. These are going to be 13mm bolts that thread into the flange. We had to replace our hardware, so this flange was drilled out and we have a nut on the back. So your socket's just going to be a 13mm socket. I'm going to have a 17 and a 15mm wrench on the back. So I'm going to raise that up into place and then grab a pole jack to support the weight of the back of it while I get my bolts installed. So now you can thread in that 13mm bolt, or in our case, we're going to slide that through and get our nut on the back. And then same thing on the other side. And then for you, tighten them down with a 13mm socket. I'm using a 17mm socket and 15mm wrench. Next, we're going to install that extension pipe. So slide one of your 3-inch clamps over the edge and then slide that onto the muffler. And take a 15mm socket to tighten it down. Next, we can install our muffler. Slide another 3-inch clamp on there, and then slide that on our extension pipe, and then just get your clamp in place and tighten it down with a 15mm socket. Next, we need to install our hanger for our side exit. That's going to be right below this body mount here, right above the front leaf spring mount. So on these square holes, we're going to be inserting a U-clip that's going to sit in this circle hole. So just get it lined up and work it down until it's lined up in that circle hole. Do the same thing up top. Now once you have those installed, take your bolt with the flat washer included in the kit and thread it into that U-clip. Do the same thing on the bottom hole. Now thread those in as far as you can by hand because it's pretty tight. And then you can get a 13mm wrench and tighten it the rest of the way down. So now we can start installing these side exit pipes. The one with the 2 hanger rods is going on the bottom here. So I'm gonna slide a clamp on there, get it into my isolator up here, and then slide it into my muffler. And now we can go back to the clamp and take a 15mm socket to tighten that down. So now we can install our top pipe. So slide your clamp on, slide it into the muffler outlet, and then we're gonna swing this up. We're gonna have to install a U-clip to connect these 2 pipes together. So now take your U-clip and slide that on to the bracket sticking off the bottom pipe. And then I'm just gonna make sure that that hole's lined up with my bolt. And that's threading in nicely. So now we can swing up our other pipe. And then pinch your 2 pipes together and thread your bolt into that U-clip. And now I'm gonna grab a 13mm ratcheting wrench and tighten down that bolt. Now we can go up top with a 15mm socket and tighten down our clamp. Next we can install our rubber isolator onto the hanger that we installed previously. So get it slid on the top and then lift on the bottom and then slide it the rest of the way on. Now lastly we can install our tips. Now the bolt side is facing the back, so I'm gonna do the front pipe first and take an 8mm Allen socket with an extension and tighten it down. And I'll do the same thing with the other one. Give them a tug, make sure they're not going anywhere. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the MBRP Armor Light dual exhaust system with polished tips, middle side exit, street version for your 2021 and newer 5-liter F-150 excluding tremor. Thank you for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.